All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. We're going to Miami, Florida for Combate Global. We're going to the Atomweight division. Andrea Meneses coming in at 5-2, taking on Janet Garcia coming in at 2-0. So Garcia coming in undefeated in her short career so far. Meneses coming in off of a loss in this one and looking to get one back in the win column. Let's get into it. All right, first round starts, and there were some fast strikes thrown in the opening minute, but really neither fighter was finding their range yet. Around the end of the first minute, Garcia clinched, landed 4 knees, and then straight into a trip takedown to the half guard of Meneses. Garcia started landing some elbows to the body. Now Meneses managed to get up to her feet, but Garcia held on to her, landed a knee, and got her back down. And then Andrea was able to get back up again, but she was trapped against the cage. Garcia managed to drag her back down again, really setting the tone for how the fight was going to go at this point. Now Garcia passed to the turtle guard position, which is, your opponents on their base, like their hands and knees, but you're kind of like on the side of them, behind them, but also to the side. What they call the referee's position in amateur wrestling. Meneses was bleeding at this point, most likely from one of the knees that landed. She managed to get up, but Garcia still held a body lock on her. And now Meneses managed to get Garcia down at this point, but Garcia was very fast, reversed, and managed to take the back of Meneses. Garcia started landing some knees to the body and some punches because she was again managed to get to the turtle position. Referee was looking closely, but Meneses managed to get to her feet and survived the final 10 seconds. Open scoring down there in Florida for Combate Global. 2 judges had it 10-9. 1 judge had it 10-8, which honestly was how I had it, all for Janet Garcia. So Meneses really starting the second round behind here. Second round starts, punches and low kicks grazing for both of the fighters. Garcia landed a kick to the body. Then Garcia backed Meneses up to the wall using kicks, and then once she got her to the wall, started punching. Close to the clinch, landed a knee to the head, and then basically from the clinch, Garcia got Meneses down just by weighing her down. Like she had her grabbed in the clinch and had a dominant position in the clinch and just basically forced her Meneses down to the floor with her weight. Like didn't even really perform a proper takedown, just was so dominant in the clinch and just weighed on her so heavily, like held on to her so heavily that it forced Meneses to the floor. Garcia moved to the turtle position again, and she kept displaying a really good use of both her weight and positioning. Garcia landed more knees to the body. Meneses climbed to her feet, but a trip sent her right back down. Garcia went to side control and then regained the turtle position as Meneses moved. Meneses to her feet, eats a knee, gets up again, and then another knee felled her, and the referee stepped in as Meneses tried to grab to the leg. Fight's over. Your winner, Janet Garcia, via TKO, 4 minutes, 20 seconds of the second round. Now, somewhat questionable stoppage. Because, yes, she was being dominated. But with that second knee landed, she went down, but she was grabbing onto the leg. Like she was trying to go for a desperation takedown. So, somewhat questionable, but I think the result would have been the same no matter what. Had he stopped it right then, or had he maybe waited a few seconds longer, I think the result would have been the same. So, kind of early stoppage, but not really. Anyway, complete domination by Janet Garcia. As soon as she got her hands on Meneses, Meneses was never able to get away. And that was the story of both the first and second round. It's like yeah, you're doing okay at distance, but as soon as Janet gets her hands on you, you're stuck. I mean, Janet stayed glued to her. And like I was saying, Meneses, she did okay at distance, but Garcia absolutely outclassed her everywhere else. And talking about Janet Garcia, they were kept labeling her Muay Thai, but I was more impressed with her grappling knowledge. And they said she trains at AKA. That really shone through, especially the way she liked the turtle position against the cage. Very reminiscent of a lot of the how the Dagestani guys fight. So she was really keeping an eye. She's really been watching how the Dagestani guys that train at AKA when they do their fight camp. You can tell she learned a lot from watching them, because that AKA grappling and that heavy Dagestani grappling style with the turtle and just going for the ground and pound with the turtle against the cage, just pressuring, holding the fighter against the cage and throwing strikes to him. Yeah, she did better there than she did, I think, everywhere else except for the clinch. And also, Garcia's positioning, she constantly stayed in control, and her weight distribution, the way she distributed her weight when she held each positioning, her weight did all the control work for her, really. Really excellent job. So they were labeling her Muay Thai because Combate Global, they like to stand up more than anything. But I was more impressed by her grappling. Okay, let's talk about Andrea Meneses for a minute. Listen, she needs to make some changes. And here's the biggest change I'm going to say. Find a different team, a different gym for fight camps. She's been training at Goat Shed. She trains at home. It's in Spain for the most part. And then when she gets ready for fight camp, her last 2 fights, she's been going to Goat Shed. And I haven't noticed anything in her last 2 fights that showed that she was making improvements there. Listen, not every gym is a good fit for people. Sometimes gyms just aren't a good fit for people, even if they don't realize it. I have not seen any improvement out of Andrea Meneses in her last 2 fights that shows me that the Goat Shed is the right place for her. Change it up. And preferably someplace that's going to really teach you how to work the clinch better. And I'll get to that in a second. But she definitely needs to make some changes. And I would say where she does her fight camp is the biggest one right now. And the easiest changeable. The easiest to change is where you do your fight camp. Back to Janet Garcia. She's 3-0 now and has been absolutely dominant in her fights. Now, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon just yet. I don't jump on bandwagons. I don't jump on hype trains. But I am going to keep an eye on her in the atomweight division. Now, let's talk things to work on real quick. For Garcia, like I said, she was absolutely dominant. I don't really have anything for her to work on. For Meneses, clinch work. Underhooks and escapes. That's the biggest thing. She got stuck in the clinch. She had no answer. So she needs to work on her clinch, but particularly working for the underhooks and working on escapes from the clinch. Now, for fights to make. For Meneses, she's really back to the drawing board. She has lost 2 in a row at this point and 3 of her last 4. So I'm not really sure at this point who is on the Combate Global roster and who's not for her to work with. Maybe Melissa Gomez. Melissa Gomez is coming off a loss in the last Combate event. Got submitted. But she's primarily a stand-up fighter. So that might make for a good one. For Janet Garcia, I'd like to see her face the winner of Kayla Rocco versus Claire Lopez. Now that fight was supposed to happen on Saturday. Same as this one. It was supposed to be the main event. Rocco fell through due to injury, but I think they're going to try to reschedule that fight. I'd like to see it get rescheduled. I hope so. And I think Garcia would make a good opponent for the winner of that. She has a lot less experience in those 2 fighters, but she's shown a lot in that short amount of time that she's been a pro. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this fight. Janet Garcia defeating Andrea Meneses via TKO 420 of the second round. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up if you liked the video, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.